remember the first time I saw the inscription, not in stone, but in an old reproduction, green letters etched upon silver foil, glimmering faintly under the museum light. Tabula Smaragdina, the Emerald Tablet. No artifact in the history of magic has inspired such reverence or confusion. The curators spoke of a lost slab of emerald once kept in the temples of Hermes Trismegistus, father of Hermetic wisdom, but the tablet itself has never been found. It exists through words, fragments, and whispers, each translation a reflection of the last, like moonlight upon still water. The legend tells us it was discovered in a vault beneath the Great Pyramid, clutched within the hands of the mummified Hermes himself. Others say Alexander the Great found it in a hollow pillar of the Sun Temple at Hermopolis. No two accounts agree, and yet all describe the same thing, a radiant green tablet upon which was carved the secret of creation. I stand before the idea of it as one might stand before a god, knowing it may never be touched, yet feeling its presence all the same. So what then was written upon this mythical tablet? The versions differ, yet the essence remains. True without falsehood, certain and most true. That which is above is as that which is below, and that which is below is as that which is above, to accomplish the miracles of the one thing. This is the heart of it, as above, so below, a single axiom that became the cornerstone of Western mysticism. It continues, and as all things have been and arose from one by the mediation of one, so all things have their birth from this one thing by adaptation. The tablet then speaks of the sun as the father, the moon as the mother, the wind that carried it in its belly, and the earth that nourished it. It tells of the separation of the subtle from the gross, the ascent from earth to heaven, and the descent again, until the light of all worlds becomes one. The closing lines resound with cosmic finality. Thus the world was created. Hence proceed wonderful adaptations, of which this is the manner. Therefore am I called Hermes Trismegistus, because I hold three parts of the philosophy of the whole world. That which I have said of the operation of the sun is accomplished and ended. 26 lines, barely 200 words, and yet for more than 2 millennia alchemists, mystics, and philosophers have treated these lines as the distilled essence of creation itself. Who then is this Hermes Trismegistus, thrice greatest? To the Egyptians he was Thoth, god of writing and measurement. To the Greeks, Hermes, the messenger between worlds. When the libraries of Egypt met the philosophy of Greece, the two became one. The divine scribe reborn as a sage who spoke the language of both heaven and earth. By the time of late antiquity, Hermetic texts circulated through Alexandria, dialogues between Hermes and his disciple Asclepius filled with visions of light and divine intellect. The Emerald Tablet was said to be his final and most concise revelation, compressing the entire Hermetic cosmology into a code of transmutation. But did Hermes ever exist? Most scholars believe he was not one man but a lineage, priests and philosophers writing under a sacred pseudonym, much as medieval grimoires were attributed to Solomon or Enoch. To invoke the name of Hermes Trismegistus was to speak as the mouthpiece of divine intelligence. In that sense, the author of the tablet was not a person, it was civilization itself reaching for meaning. To trace the tablet's path, one must follow the veins of empire. It begins in the sands of Egypt, where temple initiates guarded their secret sciences. When Alexander founded Alexandria in 331 BCE, the city became a crucible of cultures, Greek, Egyptian, Persian, Jewish, each leaving an imprint upon the newborn Hermetic tradition. Somewhere within that convergence between papyrus scrolls and priestly fragments, the words of the tablet were committed to writing. By the early centuries of our era, the text appears in Arabic sources, most notably within Kitab Sir al-Khalika, the Book of the Secret of Creation, attributed to Balinas, known in the West as Apollonius of Tyana. Balinas claimed he discovered the tablet in a hidden chamber beneath Hermes' statue, surrounded by mechanical guardians and burning lamps that had been lit for centuries. Whether allegory or memory, his account gave the legend a new body in the Islamic world. From there, the Emerald Tablet passed into the hands of translators in Baghdad and later Spain, where it entered Latin as Tabula Smaragdina Hermetis. By the Middle Ages, it had become a cornerstone of alchemy, copied into grimoires illuminated with serpents and suns, whispering the promise of transmutation. Every alchemist who read the tablet believed it concealed the formula for the philosopher's stone, the union of opposites, the perfection of matter, and the illumination of the soul. They interpreted as above, so below as a literal instruction to reproduce within the furnace what God achieved in the heavens. In the Sol et Luna, the sun and moon, they saw sulfur and mercury, spirit and body, masculine and feminine. The tablet's one thing was the prima materia, the raw chaos from which all forms emerge. In the dim glow of their laboratories, men like Roger Bacon, Albertus Magnus, and later Paracelsus labored to separate the subtle from the gross. They boiled, distilled, and sublimed metals until matter itself seemed to breathe. Each claimed that to read the tablet properly, one must purify not only one's materials, but one's mind. The fire of the furnace was mirrored by the fire of contemplation. Thus, alchemy became both a chemical art and a spiritual discipline, a meditation on unity disguised as metallurgy. The line that made the Emerald Tablet immortal, as above, so below, is older than any empire. It describes the ancient belief that the cosmos and the human soul are reflections of one another, that to know oneself is to know the universe. In the Hermetic vision, the stars are not distant fires but divine symbols. Their patterns echo within our own veins. The macrocosm and microcosm are one organism, and the purpose of the adept is to reconcile them, to bring heaven down into matter and raise matter up into spirit. To the medieval mind, this was not metaphor but mechanism. If corruption below could mirror perfection above, then through discipline the alchemist could restore the lost harmony of Eden. But there is another reading, quieter, more profound. Perhaps as above, so below is not instruction but observation. The same laws govern all realms. Creation is self-similar. The pulse of an atom mirrors the orbit of a planet. The birth of a star mirrors the awakening of consciousness. When I read those words, I feel less like an initiate and more like a witness to a truth that was never secret, only spoken in a language of light. Over centuries, the tablet multiplied through translation, each a lens through which its meaning shifted. The earliest Arabic copies survive in 9th century manuscripts. Their Latin descendants appear in the 12th century, translated by Hugo of Santalla and later by Albertus Magnus. In these, the Emerald Tablet reads like a riddle wrapped in geometry, dense, rhythmic, eternal. But the most curious translation belongs to Isaac Newton, Hidden among his alchemical papers, discovered long after his death, lies a handwritten Latin version dated around 1660. Newton, the architect of gravity and calculus, spent nights deciphering the same 26 lines that once enchanted the priests of Egypt. His translation begins, "'Tis true without lying, certain and most true. That which is below is like that which is above to do the miracles of one only thing." Even in the mind of a scientist, the tablet retained its gravity. For Newton, alchemy was not superstition, but an extension of natural philosophy, a bridge between the physical and the divine. Each translation, Arabic, Latin, English, tells us less about Hermes and more about ourselves. The tablet changes as we change, reflecting the consciousness of each age like light through cut emerald. And so the emerald tablet survives without ever being seen. No slab of green stone has been found in any tomb or temple, yet its message endures in every seeker who asks how the heavens might echo within the human heart. I imagine it still resting somewhere, perhaps not beneath sand or stone, but within the architecture of the mind. Each time we perceive unity behind multiplicity, we brush its surface. In an age of quantum mechanics and mirrored galaxies, the tablet feels strangely prophetic. The ancients spoke of correspondence, we speak of symmetry. They called it the one thing, we call it energy, field, consciousness. The words change, the mystery remains. The legend says that those who truly understand the emerald tablet need no further instruction. Its 26 lines contain everything: cosmology, theology, chemistry, psychology, all bound in the phrase, "as above, so below." When I close my eyes, I see it not as an object, but as a light, an emerald radiance hovering in the dark, inscribed with the pulse of creation itself. And in that radiance I hear the whisper of Hermes, "That which is above is as that which is below, to accomplish the miracles of the one thing." The light fades, the silence remains, the tablet endures. You've been watching the Esoteric Unveiled, exploring hidden orders, forgotten truths, and forbidden knowledge. Like and subscribe.